actually own a place down in Florida. You know that.
Right.
And property taxes are big time down there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, it's about 1.5% of value in most counties in Florida. In California, it's 1% of the value. It just depends upon the state law. But we don't have any income tax in Florida, so that's the excuse for them to raise the property tax. Yeah.
Yeah, they like the property tax.
Yeah,
some states like the property tax.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to the 18%. That still seems ridiculous to me.
Well, it is because
I mean, if it's too good to be true, it's probably not true. That's
yeah, exactly
what I've always been told.
And that's the big problem with this. When I explain this to people, they don't believe; they're just believing. But everything I'm telling you is, you're an attorney, so you know that you could research it. But it's the law.
No, I'm a liar,
in every state. Pardon me?
I'm a liar. I'm a professional.
A lawyer. Yeah, that's right. Well, the challenge is people don't believe it, and the lowest rate I've ever seen in any state is 8%. So it's just up to the person if they want to travel around and do it. Now, you don't have to travel like you did when I started. You have to go to the state. You have to go to the county office. Now we do this. We teach you we actually have computer programs and teach people how to appraise right on the computer. And then they can check the property out with Zillow, go look from the satellite maps. And then we have them, call a local attorney's office or a real estate broker and go out and get a picture of it before they buy it. But you can do the whole thing online now if you want to.
So I should probably check the property out before I look at it.
Oh my God! Don't ever buy a property. That's the biggest risk. Is if to buy a property, you wouldn't get married without knowing the woman. It's that kind of thing. So never buy a property without checking it out. Anybody that you have that's on your list would be savvy enough to do that. But a newcomer that didn't know anything about it, they need to you need to check a property out. So I would say, let's say you're in Utah right now. I would say go learn how to do it in your local area. And then once you've done that, the beauty of this thing, it's going to be around forever. This system was developed a couple of hundred years ago, so it's not going away. So once you learn how to do it in one community, you can do it. There's 3,200 counties and 1,400 municipalities that sell these certificates. So there's a lot out there. Really a lot.
But it's pretty complicated then.
Here's how hard it is. You can go online, or you can call them up, or you can get out of a newspaper, and they're going to give you the number of this certificate. And then you just bid on that number. Every property is identified. Every property has like a social security number. It's a assessor's parcel number. And once you know that number, you know everything there is to know about the property. Everything's listed. So you don't ever give any money to me or Lee or anybody else. You give the money right to the government. So it's protected while you have it. So it's really super simple. Everything that I talk about is at least 100 years old. And, quite frankly, we know this, but 100 years ago, a lot of people didn't read and write. And so that's how old the system is. It's really easy. People have just become so sophisticated, they have forgotten that, all the stuff is at the county records.
I end up paying the tax.
Right.
And then the guy basically pays me off with the interest rate.
Yeah, what happens is...
what guarantees this guy's going to pay me off?
That's a good question. All right. So first of all, you don't ever have to do any business with the taxpayer, because that could become sticky. You wouldn't want to do that. So what you would do is you'd find the certificate you wanted to buy, or the hundreds that you wanted to buy, and then you would give your money to the tax collector at the auction, specifying which numbers you bought. Now, when those people come in and pay the
taxes.
Yeah, you're just paying the back taxes. That's all you're doing.
Okay.
You're buying back taxes, and the certificate, the piece of paper, is evidence that you paid the back taxes. All right, so now you have that evidence. When the people do come in and pay the tax, and 97% will come in and pay. Matter of fact, in many places, 99% will pay the tax. When they pay the tax, the local government clerk is going to call you up and say, send your certificate to us. And when you send it to them, then they'll send a check right back. Now, of course, when you send it, you send a FedEx check, so you get your check back real quick. And then they send the check right back to you, and so you get all your money back. Now, let me say that again. When you buy one of these, you get all your money back plus the high rate of interest. There's very few investments you're going to get all your money back every time. So you either get all your money back or you get the property. It's one or the other.
Okay, so it's pretty safe then.
I think it's the safest investment in America. And the reason I say that is because you give the money to the government, you get your money back from the government 97% of the time. So you got a 97% assurance he's going to get paid. And if you don't get paid, you get the property. And when you get the property, you get the property in almost all cases without a mortgage on it. So everybody would like to get properties without a mortgage on it. So it's a pretty safe investment. It's as safe as you're going to be able to get. Now, some people don't want property. They just want the certificates. Now, myself, I don't mind having the property at all, especially if I bought it for just back taxes and there's no mortgage on it. So it's a good deal. It's a great deal.
Yeah. Legally, the tax liens are going to trump the mortgages and everything else.
Oh, yeah. When you buy a tax certificate, you're absolutely right. When you buy a tax certificate, you're buying the absolute first lien on the property. Now, if there's someone that's a client of yours that's listening that's a real estate person, they say, no, Ted, the first mortgage is first. But nobody's ever in front of the government, as you know. The tax certificate is first and then the mortgage. That's always the way it is.
Nobody's in front of the IRS. I'll give you that, or the tax collector.
Exactly.
So wait a minute. I've got a house that I've got a mortgage on and I'm not paying my taxes. The mortgage company's not going to let that go to tax closure because they'd lose their piece of property. They'll pay the back taxes, won't they?
Well, that's the second way. That's right. As you know, if the property has a mortgage on it, there's three covenants in that mortgage. And the first one is that you'll pay the mortgage. And then the second one, of course, is that you'll pay the taxes. And the third one, the insurance. And so if the mortgage holder finds out that you're not paying your tax, what the mortgage holder will do is they'll pay the tax. And then they'll come back and foreclose and take the property. Right. I mean, I just don't believe that. And I can tell you right now, it always comes up in these conversations. People say, well, can professionals do this? So can we just talk about that for just a minute? Because you have a lot of professional clients and so do I.
The doctors and the dentists and the chiropractors and all those guys?
Right. They have a struggle because all of those businesses became tough. Those businesses were always restricted, but now with the new Obamacare and the new medical laws and all that, all their costs have skyrocketed and they're having trouble making money. So I get invited to dental conventions, and when I go there, they ask me to speak and show people alternate ways. And I want to show you someone right now that I met at a dental convention, and I'm going to show you a video and you'll be amazed. He came to me after I spoke, and he said, can I really do this in my hometown? And I said, where do you live? And he said he lived in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And I said, look, Florida is the most competitive market in the United States, not California, but Florida, especially south of Orlando. But you can do it. And so sure enough, and I'm going to show you the video here. So let's watch the clip, and then I'll come back and tell. His name is Dr. Joe Springarn, and he went to the auction, and watch here what happens to him.
We did our due diligence, looked up all what was on the property. There were no liens. There was no mortgage. This was owned by an older couple who passed away. Wow. And nobody had paid the taxes, of which the county wanted $5,200, where the bidding started.
So if there was no other bidders there, what might have happened?
If there were no other bidders, if we were the only bidder?
Yeah, if you were the only bidder.
We would have got it for $5,200.
Wow. Well, Dr. Joe, where are we now?
Now we're in the actual apartment that we bought. They just laid the tile. The grout's not even down yet. And we're in the living room. The kitchen is in the background.
And you have it sold now? You have a contract?
We already sold.
Already sold it.
We got a deposit of $10,000. Probably within 4 weeks we'll be closed.
So you paid $80,000, and what did you sell it for?
For $135,000.
$135,000. So that leaves you about $45,000 or $50,000.
$10,000 in improvements.
Okay. All right.
So that's $45,000.
$45,000. Okay.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, and so now you see it. So first I was in his office, as you could tell, and then we went to this, what used to be apartments, but they converted them to condos. Someone lost it because the old couple passed away and no one paid the taxes. Now he made, and you heard him say it, he made $45,000, and it took him about 6 or 8 weeks. He didn't do any of that work himself. He did his dental practice. Now $45,000, how many root canals and how many fillings would he have to do to make that kind of money? So this is perfect for a professional. Do it once or twice a year. That's enough money to put in his pension plan and fund his pension and the girl's pension that worked for him.